You need to find yourself your longest one.
You need to go sit down, boy.
Okay. Pay attention because I'm only going to say this once. Okay. Each rectangle you're going to place like this.
Which one?
Okay.
Which one's that one? The longest one.
So find your longest one. And you're going to take it and fold it like a hot dog.
I just had one for breakfast.
Which way?
Hot dog's nasty.
Which way?
Okay. You're going to fold it like a hot dog. So you want to keep it as long as possible.
So it's supposed to be this thin.
So it's going to look like this when you're finished. Long and thin.
Do it have to be perfect?
No. Does not have to be perfect. Okay. This is your first vocabulary word for the day. And your word is dilations.
I know what that is. Dilations.
Which way you write it? Like,
Okay.
open your thing.
Okay. No, leave it folded. Leave it folded on the outside.
Wait, what's the
Okay. Leave it folded on the outside so it looks like this. You're going to put the word on the outside. We're going to open it up. And on the inside, we're going to put the definition.
Wait. Page 24 is the thing that we did yesterday. D.
We are on 27.
Oh. I thought it was on 9. Wait. But out. Your boy is fun.
CJ, how do you know what page we're on? You don't even have a notebook.
Got him. Right. On blast.
Okay. Somebody tell me what a dilation is.
Dilation is the calculation of so much on
She's got the vocabulary sheet out in front of her. Okay. So think about it. What on your body? There is something on your human body that either enlarges or your pupils. Okay. If I let in a lot of light, if I take a flashlight, I go up to your eye.
It's gonna get small, right?
Your pupil dilate. It gets smaller. It shrinks.
But in the dark, it doesn't get bigger.
But whenever you're in a dark room like we are now, your pupils have to dilate. They have to get bigger to let in more light so you can see. Here we go. Okay. So your formal. What's up?
That's why they did that.
Mm-hmm. When you shine too much light in, it has to shrink because it gets too bright and you can't see. So it has to adjust. And then when you walk into a room that's too dark, they expand so they can let in more light. Okay? So your formal definition that goes on the inside of this. It reduces. It is a transformation
of the eye. There you go.
I know.
That reduces or enlarges a figure. Okay. You can also put here your pupils. It reduces or enlarges a figure.
I have a long way to go forward.
You in third one?
Right.
Sick. And you got English?
No. I got electronic.
Okay, once you're done with that one, just set it aside for now. Okay? You need to grab your next longest rectangle and fold it in half the same exact way we did your other one.
So do we not glue this one yet?
Hold off. We will glue them all in at the end. So take your next longest one and fold it in half, just like you did with the first one. And your next vocabulary word is scale factor.
That's the second longest one, right?
Yes. We're going to go longest to shortest.
I'm the tallest.
I'm just trying to.
Oh, yeah, it was you.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody know what I mean by the word scale factor?
No, I never heard that.
Okay, think about it. If I have a small circle and a large circle,
Okay.
That's a pumpkin.
The people can't see that.
okay? Let's say this radius is a 6 and this radius is a 2.
Boo.
Let's say this is your old figure and this is your new. Your scale factor is the ratio that happens between the two. Okay, so what do I have to multiply this by to get this?
3.
3. Okay, that's what your scale factor is. It's telling you how much bigger or how much smaller are you getting. Okay, so we find that by taking your new figure and dividing it by your old, and that gives you your scale factor. Okay. All it's doing is it's telling you how big did your object get? Well, my object got 4 times bigger than my original. Or how small did your object get? Well, I cut it in half. Okay, it tells you how big or how small your object's getting from old to new. So, your formal definition, and we will practice this, is the ratio.
Oh, I love ratios.
I'm tired.
Of the lengths of 2 corresponding sides. Okay, to find it, we take your new figure and we divide by our old figure.
Oh, sister.
Oh, where have y'all been?
I'm
I'ma say it again. Where have y'all been? Go.
Sienna, right now, all we're doing is
Oops. What does that say? Corresponding what?
corresponding sides. Corresponding sides.
Miss Smith, were we supposed to cut these?
Yes.
Just go change the shit.
We're going to.
Go
Okay,
change the
so I can see. Because I see you on your.
Oh, you like ooh.
Okay, find your next biggest one and fold it in half. I know. Your next biggest one, your middle one. I told you we're going from biggest to smallest.
What word is it?
Okay, your third word is reduction.
Why is all these subtraction words?
It's not a subtraction word.
Reduction, that sounds like minus to me.
That's a good way to look at it.
You just
What
said-
does it mean to reduce?
Take away.
Take away, get smaller. So what do you think we're doing here?
Subtraction.
I just said that.
Make it smaller.
It's making it smaller, so we're doing what?
Subtract.
It's going from here to here. What's happening to my figure?
It's getting shrinking.
It's
See?
shrinking.
You just made me
Okay,
mess up my-
so a reduction is when your object shrinks, when it starts out big and it gets smaller.
Edge reduction.
Okay,
Were you a fool?
okay. A reduction happens when your scale factor, which is represented by K, is between the numbers 0 and 1. Okay, it cannot be negative,
I don't get that.
but it is a fraction.
That's a 0 in front of the K, right?
Okay, yes. It's bigger than 0, but it's less than 1. So it's something like 3/8, 1/2, 7/16. anything that is smaller than 1. However, it cannot be negative. So if you want to put something on here, cannot be negative. None of your scale factors will be negative.
I use this. Well, this third one, right?
Okay, this is your third one.
So they always say,
Hold on.
I knew you would say that too.
Okay. I'm not going to move that one out of the screen, but those of you that are ready, your next smallest one, we're looking at the word enlargement.
Enlargement.
So reduction was where I shrank.
So you get bigger.
So an enlargement is where my figure gets bigger. It enlarges, it expands, it blows up, whatever you want to call it.
money,
You want to call it money?
Floyd
No,
Mayweather.
Still.
Oh, wait, another person waiting. Hang on, Stephanie.
Okay, so if a reduction needs to be a fraction or some number between the values of 0 and 1, what do you think an enlargement has to be? Bigger than 1. Anything bigger than 1. It can be 2.5. It's still bigger than 1. So on the it can be 1.5, as long as it's bigger than 1. It can be 1.0001, and it's still an enlargement. Okay.
No. It's
Yes.
enlargement.
Well, no, because it's not doing anything. It's not changing. So no, 1 won't work.
Is this like when you times it by that?
Okay. So your enlargement is when your K value or your scale factor is bigger than 1.
It's a big bad show.
The big bad showdown.
Yeah.
You don't see anything with that cake.
I'm a country, so
Okay. Your last one, your teeny tiniest one. On the outside, you're going to put your general rule. Okay. Just like we had with translations yesterday, where you had to add to the X and add to the Y, or you had to subtract from your X, add to your Y. There is a rule for dilations.
This is the last one, right?
Yes. This is it.
yes, sir.
General what?
General rule.
I feel like I'm
You know.
To get your new points.
Oh, I'm about to drop my books.
To get your new points, we take your scale factor of K,
okay.
okay, and we multiply it by both your X and your Y. So your new answer then will be K times X, comma K times Y.
Okay, wait. Okay, minus X. Is that an
Okay.
equal or a minus?
It's an equals.
I don't know in the
So,
parentheses.
I'm going to give one example. If my K value,
Yes, it is. Where?
okay, if my K value is a 2, and I start with the points, 1, comma 2,
Okay, first
What is that next? Maybe between K and the X.
a comma,
No, right. Yeah.
That's a dot.
a dot to represent your multiplication sign. We do not use X for multiplying anymore. It gets too confused with the variables. They need to just stop using it, period, and then there won't be an issue. Okay. So if I do the example where my K value is a 2, my X value is a 1, my Y value is a 2, I would take it and I would multiply 2 times 1 and 2 times 2. You take your K value and you multiply it by everything inside. So my final point then is going to be at 2, comma 4.
So basically, you do everything.
What are you doing?
I only got the juice.
No, it's
Yeah,
Got it, bro.
Oh my gosh.
I think Grace already had
That's
it.
juice.
Nah, you got this one. The last.
He talking about some water. You texting me.
I'm moving on because there's too much of this going on and not enough paying attention.
I need it. Can I use the expiration, please?
Never.
Jeez.
Never.
I know, it's right here doing my work.
Okay. You're going to glue each one of these paces onto page 27.
Oh,
From which one?
We're going to have to shorten it.
We're gonna have to cut it.
Oh, yeah, I guess we could do that too. That works.
I'll stay after the day.
Okay.
I was going in like
Never mind.
Right. So we're going to glue them in sideways so they all fit. You're going to do dilations, then scale factor, reduction, enlargement. And where did I just drop my general rule?
What the heck?
And general rule at the bottom. So you're going to glue this in sideways on page 27.
Why do I only got 4?
Oh,
Did you drop one?
somebody's general.
You found it?
I was about to cry.
Okay. On the next page, we're going to do 8 examples.
I need some water. I got a cold.
That's a bad
And I'm balling like this.
That's a pass.
You're
Here
balling.
goes your regular roll. I can't find my page.
I'm balling too hard. What was that?
This is math class and I ain't good at it. Take your guess.
That's wood.
What's wood glue?
Hey,
Your wood.
What would I use? It's rubber cement.
you know, I'm here 728. Oh, I thought it was 129.
You're welcome to use it. You just need to buy your own.
So
I'm
what
not
is
saying
your
glue
glue?
stick.
You need to buy your own. You can use rubber cement instead of glue sticks. That's fine. You can use any glue you want.
It's at Walmart for $3.99.
I want to say it's 3 something at Walmart
It's
in the
$3.99.
craft aisle.
It is not $3.99.
Bruh, it's Walmart. How you gonna tell me? Right.
Look,
I'm straight.
I got
Okay.
I got 5. Look at that.
Once you're glued in,
This is hard.
What was I saying? Oh, that way. Oh, yeah. What? Nah.
He said, we're not friends.
No.
We're not friends.
who's not
I
friends
know
anymore?
somebody that said that though. True. I know somebody that said that though. They calling shots out here though.
We're not friends. You
Bro, what's that highlight?
Can you please fix your phone?
Right. Turn on the flash at least.
Jesus is your mom.
Like, I'm.
Okay.
Turn it off.
Yes.
Once you are finished,
Wait, what? We gotta talk about
once you're finished with your vocabulary being glued in, go ahead and cut out the examples from the other
I
page.
swear my glue
We don't need
dry.
anything else but the examples.
I think my glue dried up.
1 through 4 grouped together, 5 through 8 grouped together.
I need some glue. That's what I heard. It would. If it was me, it would. Hey, I put my glue down.
Charlie. Charlie. Very my scissors. No, I want to.
I don't know what you mean, boy.
You teach
The
this
green
in
one.
class like 3 times.
It doesn't matter what color.
The green.
I teach seniors after you guys.
Rubber.
Look, they call me.
You're fast.
No, you the one that said it, not me.
Which one are we cutting now?
See, I'm
Okay,
still.
We're cutting out 1 through 4 together and 5 through 8.
Y'all need to learn how to slow y'all things. Y'all like 3 pages ahead.
You just need to start getting up off
Yeah, hey,
the
hey, that used to be my song.
You need the words in the report.
I would leave the directions on both sections. Okay. You're going to glue this on page 28.
But I got other
Oh,
stuff
hey,
on top of
let's see how hard you're gonna mess up.
I caught a cramp and I ain't gonna say that.
it. I got a crap. I ain't even know.
You gotta know.
Yes, you hear.
I be crying when I have a cramp.
You crying too, bro?
You
Football season, bro. I'm crying. That's hurt.
You go ahead and glue them in.
Nah.
Go ahead and glue them in.
I was about to say,
I'm so close to catching up to y'all, but y'all still floating away from me.
Go ahead and cut them out in groups of 4 and glue them in.
Wait, what?
Yeah, float too.
like this, bro. You already got it, bro.
I thought you said cut them out the groups.
In groups of
Oh,
4.
yeah.
Like up there.
I thought you said cut them out the groups of 4.
No.
Y'all better not miss this trash can.
Like this. Like this.
Zero. I need on my receipt.
That's home and I hate to share.
I got you.
Oh, I did it.
Wait, are we?
Huh?
I did top.
I'm gonna get you in my hand. Found it. My first.
This is in here. Nothing.
I can do this.
Hey, Chris,
Y'all,
y'all came home.
That's that
everybody home.
But you did it again.
That's gonna be a long day.
Oh my God. What
You ain't gonna get home till like 12.
is he telling me right now? That's what I'm saying.
All right. Say that. Say that.
Okay, how do you guys know? Huh? Well, that's you and whoever. That's not
Today
me.
I do.
Huh?
Today I do.
Hey, I'm telling you, hey, stop that for a while. See them, bro.
Oh, that was Saturday. He got injured Saturday.
Come on,
Yeah, I told y'all yesterday. Yep. And I say he bad.
That never happened.
This is man.
Huh?
That never happened.
Happened to you.
That never happened.
Just great.
What? You? I got to my leg. Man.
Oh.
Like he had all gold. All gold.
It was a 98.
Oh, I noticed something too.
Man.
It was
Imagine what my kids say.
It was
Just a regular plan.
It's hard to post niggas
You're welcome, ma'am.
Say no.
Okay.
Miss Smith?
Yes.
Do I cut the definition? What's your
No,
hard
that's what
saying?
you just put on that other page.
What?
I'm talking about hers.
That's what I got on.
Oh, so
So we don't need.
yours, I
that.
remember.
This section.
No like.
Stones.
I figured I'd make it bigger so you didn't have to read it any time. I didn't think so, you know.
What are you doing?
Yes. So are you out the rest of basketball season?
What are you doing?
Or where?
You scared me like you don't know my mind.
Wait.
I sat there looking at the girls.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I lost my $20, so I can't go buy anything else. I don't know. I let my business
And my bootleg Max too.
No, I can't trust nobody. I can't trust nobody.
I just realized.
I was sleeping.
As soon as I turned over, I see this. I forgot about my bill.
I was mad sleeping good.
I'm gonna try.
I got posted on.
Let me try.
Oh, no, this lady's slick. She said she had a whole thing gun in her car. I'm gonna catch her. What's up, plan? Yeah,
I really agree, but I don't really.
during lunch.
Oh,
Are we all glued in, good to go? I said, are we all glued in, good to go?
Yeah.
Yes,
No.
that was what we put on all the little rectangles.
That goes on 28.
Okay. So, we're on page 28 right now.
Hey, Mullen.
Okay. I'm gonna zoom in here. Okay, we set our scale factor. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I need it back the other way.
Why is yours?
I was trying to make it easier on my life and it's not working.
How you know yours not messed up?
I just told the book.
Okay, so on page 28, we're gonna find the scale factor. Okay. Remember, your scale factor tells you how big or small your figure is getting. So if it's getting smaller, it should be somewhere between 0 and 1. If it's getting larger, it should be greater than 1. So take a look at number 1. Try to zoom it in as best as I can so y'all can see it. Okay. Okay, so this is my original figure that I've highlighted or colored in. Remember, your original figure does not have the little apostrophes, the little prime symbols. So that's how I know it's my original figure. So this is original and this is my new figure. What has happened? Has my figure gotten bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
Smaller. Okay, it went from this big one on the right to this little one on the left. We need to figure out my scale factor. How much did it shrink? Okay, so to find that, to find our K value, which is your scale factor, we take your new number and we divide it by our old number. Okay, so I have two different ways of doing this one. I have a new number of 3. Okay, I've got a new number of 3, so that's a 3. In comparison to that, what number am I going to use on my old figure if I use a 3?
7.
The 7. So my K value is 3/7. What else can I do instead of doing that? What other numbers do I have? 6 and 14. Okay, I can use 6. 6 is my new.
Oh,
Remember, it's always my new. So I can do 6 over my old is 14. Well, what does that reduce to? 3/7.
oh, that's boring.
Okay, so either way you look at it, it comes out to be the same exact thing. Okay, let's take a look at number 3 then. Okay, we're gonna jump down to number 3.
Hold up, so the answer is 3/7.
Yep.
Yep.
Your scale factor is 3/7.
Oh, that's D.
It shrunk by 3/7. Your new figure is 3/7 of the original size. Okay.
My job.
All right. For the next one, remember your K value is new over old. Which one is my new figure this time?
The first one, which is on the left.
No.
That's small. That's small.
Okay,
one.
hold on. Stop. Back up because you all know how to do this. What shows you new figure just looking at letters? The prime. So which one is my new figure?
The big one.
The big one. So this is new, this is old. So to find my K value, it's always new over old. So what's my new number? 7. What's my old number? 3. Is 7/3 bigger than 1 or less than 1?
Bigger.
Bigger. It's 2 1/3, right?
Yeah.
So my figure should have done what? It should have gotten bigger. Well, it went from old. Hold on one second. It went from old to new. So did it get bigger?
Yes.
Does my answer make sense?
Yes.
Yes, we're good.
Okay.
What was your question, Stefan? Can you wait till I get through these last 2 and then we'll take, and I'll let you run for like 2 minutes because I got to get through this lesson, okay? Let me get through these next 2. All right. Let's jump over to number 2. Okay, which is my new figure? Which is my old?
The bigger one is the newest.
The bigger one is the new. Okay, remember, look for that prime. That's got that prime that tells me new. So my K value, be careful here. What is the value for my new figure?
15.
No.
Is that a 16 or 15?
That's 15.
It is 15, but look,
30.
my old figure goes from here to here, and that's 15. Well, if my old figure goes from here to here, my new figure has to go from here to here.
It's 30.
So it's 30. Perfect.
30.
Sorry, I missed that. So my new figure's 30. My old figure is 15,
That's a half.
which makes not half. What's 30 divided by 15? 2. So my scale factor is a 2. So my figure should have gotten bigger. Did it get bigger? Yes. It went from this small one to this big one. One more at the bottom then. Which one's my old? Which one's my new?
The old is the first one. The new one is the small one.
The new one is the small one. This is new. This is old. So to find my K value, it's what over what? New over old. So my numbers look like 4 over 10. Okay. New over old, which is 2 over 5. Fantastic.
Now I can go.
Yes.
All right, cool.
You gotta run.
Like a minute or 2 so I can get over these last ones. Okay. While we're waiting on Stefan to come back,
I got to
do me a favor and go down to 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I want you to put the coordinates for each one of your letters on each one of those graphs. So what I mean by that, okay, is you're going to go down here. And number 5, you've got A, B, and C. A is at the point 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. B is at the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. And C is at 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay. Go ahead and put all of your points for all of your problems here. So 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Be careful with number 7. Each line's going by 2s.
What?
Each line is going by 2s. So that means point L is at 2, 4.
So each box is a 2.
Each box is by 2s. So that's at 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. K is at 1, 8. N is at 1, 2, negative 6, 0. And M is at negative 10, 0. Okay. Go ahead and get those points down. And then we'll go over and do 6 and 8.
Oh.
Does anybody still need these points up real fast?
What we do?
All right. If we jump over to the next side. 6. A is at the point negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. Negative 8, negative 3. B is at the point negative 5, negative 4. C is at negative 2, negative 3. And D is at negative 4, negative 1. Good. Okay. And then we've got X, Y, and Z down here. And these ones are going by 2s. So negative 3, negative 2 for X. Y is at 2, 4, 6, 8, 4. And Z is at 4, negative 4. I promise you it's not as hard as you're going to make it out to be. I just need you to breathe. Dilations is probably by far the easiest one to do. Everybody panics when they see fractions, though. They're like, oh my God, I can't do that.
Y'all can't do it. I'm lost.
It's all good. I got you. Okay. So we're going to have to just go ahead and continue. My scale factor is 3/2, which means my figure's gotten smaller or bigger? Bigger. It's greater than 1. It's 1.5. Okay. So the way we do this is we multiply each one of these pieces by my scale factor. Well, what's 0 times anything? 0. So my new point is 0, comma. Okay. Watch what happens here. I'm going to do the work above it so you can see where it's coming from. We're doing 4 times 3/2. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. You've got 4 from here, 3/2 from here. What's 4 times 3?
12.
Divided by 2.
6.
Done. Multiply across the top, divide by what's underneath. So each one of these is 4. So 4 times 3 is 12. Divided by 2 is 6. So this new point is 6, 6. Okay. This one is a 3. So we do 3 times 3. Divided by 2. Does it do even? Does it go in even? No. So leave it alone. 9 halves. Okay. If it doesn't divide in even, leave it alone. This one, 2. So 2 times 3 divided by 2, 3. Okay. All right. Move down here. My scale factor is 1/2. So my figure should be getting bigger or smaller? Smaller. It's between 0 and 1. It should shrink by 1/2. Well, what's half of 2? 1. What's half of 4?
2.
There's your new point.
50.
What's half of 1?
25.
0.5 or 1/2. What's half of 8?
4.
4. What's half of -6? -3. What's half of 0? 0. Doesn't change. What's half of -10? -5. And what's half of 0? There's your new points.
Good job.
Okay. All right. Over to the other side then.
You gotta catch up.
My K value is a 3. So is my figure getting bigger or smaller? Bigger. It's getting bigger by 3. What's -8 times 3? -24. So this is -24, comma. What's -3 times 3? -9.
-2, -3.
Okay. Everything is being multiplied by 3. So what's 3 times -5? -15. 3 times -4? -12.
X1, -3.
C. We've got -2 times 3. -3 times 3. Perfect. -4 times 3. -12. 3 times -1. -3.
Oh. Can you slide up some, please?
Okay. Okay. My last one. We're multiplying by 3/4. Remember, multiply this by what's on the top and then divide by what's on the bottom. So -3 times 3. -9 divided by 4. Does it go even?
No.
No, so leave it. -9/4. Okay. -2 times 3. Divided by 4. Does it go even?
No.
No, but what does -6/4 reduce down to? -3/2. If you can't do the mental math, plug it into your calculator. If you then hit math and change it back to a fraction, it will give you fraction. Okay. 8 times 3 is what? 24 divided by 4 is 6.
There you go, Marlon.
4 times 3 is? Divided by 4 is? 3. Okay. Both of these are the same thing, except one's negative, one's positive. So again, 4 times 3 is? Divided by 4 is? So this is a +3 and a -3.
Bro.
Questions or problems?
Can I go to sleep? That's Oreo.
Okay, Stefan, give me 1 second. I'll put this back up.
I already called it.
Okay.
Wait, never mind. I'm not done. It's another side.